This is cs952, Introduction to Web Technologies and Design. And we just wrapped up working with FancyBox and really adding some excitement to our gallery page. Let's have a look at our media page. So I'm going to close up my gallery page and close up this text files page. And let's open up our media page. Remember that we have our video, our audio, and our video player, and I'm going to hit F12 to preview in Chrome. And this looks pretty good. There's my audio. As I reduce it and make this, I'm going to resize my image here. Looks pretty good. Okay, that's in Chrome. How does it look in Firefox? Let's go over here and choose to preview in Firefox. Okay, pretty much notice that the appearance of the video, of the audio player, is different in Firefox, because the actual appearance of the audio player really depends on how the web browser decides to render it. And when they wrote the code for Firefox, they wrote it a little bit differently than they did for Chrome. Again, it works real well. I'll scroll it down here. Have a look at this. Nice. Looks different, but still works great. So let's go back and let's preview in our good friend Internet Explorer. Okay. So I need to resize Internet Explorer here a little bit. Let me close up this window here. And then we've got the message from Internet Explorer about active content. They're talking about JavaScript there. It's another one of the features of Internet Explorer, getting that prompt. So when we do that, we get this error that says unsupported audio type or invalid file path. I don't know why we're getting that error. Let's go back and check this page out. Works just fine in Chrome. We already tested it in Chrome. But in Internet Explorer, let's hit F5 to refresh the page. Let's hit Allow Blocked Content. Here we go. It was because of that error. Now notice right away that we can't even see all of the controls that we need for our audio player. Let me slide the image way over here, page way over here, and expand this out. For some reason, the Internet Explorer audio player is enormous in size compared to the other two browsers. And it's also non-responsive. As we scale the page down, it doesn't change in its size. Here we go. If we make it smaller this way, then we can get everything displayed in there. But the way that the audio player works or is displayed on Internet Explorer is definitely not as satisfactory as the other two web browsers. So what we can do to solve this is we actually have a little bit of jQuery. There's a really simple, fun jQuery audio player that we're going to add that's going to standardize how our audio player works across all three platforms. And remember, that's one of the neat things about jQuery is jQuery has tools built into it to sort of standardize how things work on different web browsers. That's another one of the reasons we like to use jQuery. So how do we add this to our website? Well, in this case, we're only going to be adding this code to this page only, to our media page, because unlike the navigation modification that we did, unlike changing the date, unlike the gallery feature where we use FancyBox, we're not looking to do this on every single page, but really we just want to target this one page. But a lot of the procedures are going to be similar. So I've got my media page open, and the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to add in our audio player CSS. So I'm in split view. You could be doing this in split view or in code view only. Either one's going to work because you will need to see the code in order to make this work. Here in my DOM panel again, I'm going to open up my head tag, and if I scroll down, we've got two editable regions here. Now one of them is editable because it's actually the title of our document. That's it right there. Because you can always change the title of your document. Now the other editable region is kind of a hidden editable region. Unless you know to look here, unless you go through your DOM panel, it doesn't really jump out. There was never any placeholder text here, but Dreamweaver by default sets a little editable region for you in the head of the document because there's stuff that you just want to add to the head of your document. So I've got my cursor here. For me, it's around line 34. I'm going to hit the Enter key to add myself an extra line. And I'm going to add in some CSS. So the CSS I need to add is the CSS for my jQuery audio player. And all this again is let's look inside our tutorial folder, and if we look inside the jQuery folder And if we look inside of our CSS folder, right there it is, audioplayer.css. So as before, I'm going to move my assets over so I can keep everything nice and organized. I'm going to drag this folder over, this file over to my main CSS. And we get the question, do you want to update links? Yeah, that'd be fine. So now our primary CSS folder, you can see we've got 5 CSS files in here. Okay, and this audioplayer.css, this is what we want to add to our page. So now that I've got it in the right folder, I'm just going to drag it over and drop it in place. Okay, Tree Mover wants me to refresh. I'll go ahead and do that. So this will be adding the audio player CSS only to this page, just to this page. Now let's close that up. Next thing we need to do is we need to move over our JavaScript. So we have, this is the specific JavaScript that we're going to be using for our audio player. So I'm going to again drag that over and drop it into my my primary JavaScript asset folder. It says, do you want to update the links? I say, yep. So I moved it from my jQuery JS folder. So I've pretty much emptied out at this point my jQuery folder. Now I want to add this audio player JS to this particular page. Well, where do I do that? I'm going to scroll on down, and inside of my body tag at the very end, when we had all these scripts, we have this editable script region where we add script just for this page. And we did this in our gallery page when we added the specific jQuery to build out all of our fancy box classes and to make all that work. We're going to do the same thing here. I've got my cursor here inside of that instance begin and instance in editable tags. I'll hit enter a couple times, give myself some room, go up one line, and then I'm just going to drag over audio player. So the last thing we need to add is that little bit of initialization script that kind of tells the web browser how to use this new code. So if I look in my tutorial folder, and again you can open up that text files, text.files. And again, I'm going to hit Control F, or you can go under Edit and choose Find and Replace. And let's look for Audio Player, AUDIOPLAYER, and hit Find Next. Okay, here we go. And here it is, jQuery to add audio player functions. So I'm going to copy these 2 lines. This is on line 178. I'm going to right click and choose Copy and go back to my media page. And right after this line that loads my audio player JavaScript, I'm going to hit enter, and then I'm going to hit paste, and I just want to again hit tab. I've got my cursor at the beginning of the script thing and just hit the tab key just get everything to line up, and hit refresh. So what's happening here is on line 166 we load the audio player JavaScript, and then on line 168, here we go again, it's beginning of our script. We've got a function. It's got the $sign, so we know we're talking jQuery, and we're going to load this audio. We're going to add the audio player mini program, or however you want to think of it, to our page. And in front of it, we've got another CSS selector. But this one, it doesn't say # icons 3, meaning it's an ID of icons 3. It doesn't say period fancy box, meaning class fancy box. It's just plain old audio, which means that this code is going to search out any elements on the page that have a standard HTML tag of audio, just plain old straight out audio. So do we have an audio tag on our page? Well, we certainly do. If we go through and we look inside of our page, if we look inside of that second div that we created, the one that's 4 columns wide, I'm clicking here through my DOM panel, and we scroll on down. Right here it is. There is an audio tag. Just a plain old straight out audio tag, not a class, not an ID, but a standard audio HTML element. So we can see it right here. So this says anything that's inside of that audio tag, apply the audio player function. If I click on that audio tag, I can see that here it is, audio. And this is where I set my source to be the audio sharpener. So let's preview in a web browser. Preview in Chrome, sure. Save changes, yep. And I'm going to scroll down. And now this, it looks a little bit different, right? This is our new audio player. This is what the old audio player looks like. So this is the default audio player for Chrome. And this is the audio player that we get with the audio player functions. I can click on it and it plays. Okay. Most importantly, let's see what we got going on. I'm going to click over here. So here we are looking at the page in Internet Explorer, and I'm going to hit F5 to refresh the page. And as we scroll down, now this looks much better. So now instead of that clunky Internet Explorer audio player, we've got one that's responsive, and the appearance is uniform across all of our different web browsers. And the function of it, got a little volume control over here as well. We can change this coloring. It's kind of a purplish color here. You can change that by editing the audio player CSS file. So we're good to go. So this concludes all the main elements that we're going to be adding to our website. We still have a extra credit assignment if you want to have a look at that. But this wraps up working with the jQuery audio player.